Hello, my name is Alexa. I'm going to explain more about my role in a minute, but first I want to make sure I know who is here and that everyone has a chance to meet each other. If you could introduce yourself.
My name is Jasmine. I'm 22 years old. I study math here at North Central College. This is my junior year, and I room with Ladasha.
And
I'm Ladasha. I'm also 22 years old. I am a music major at North Central College, and I room with Jasmine.
okay. My role here is to assist you in opening dialogue and communication and to help you both look at your situation in a realistic and satisfactory way. And the goal is to explore areas of common ground in order to reach an agreement that meets each of your needs. So regarding the process we will be following, first I'm going to ask Ladasha make a statement as to what brought her to the table today, and then I'll ask Jasmine to state her views, and then after that we'll have questions and discussions. Also, I want to let you both know that this process is confidential as far as I'm concerned. That means I will not willingly testify or share with anyone outside of this mediation what I hear in this mediation. The exception to this is if I come to believe that anyone inside or outside of the mediation is in danger of serious or imminent harm. I would break confidentiality to the extent that I feel necessary to deal with that. All right, so Ladasha, can you tell me what brings you to this meeting?
Okay, so I have recently started running because I gained a little bit of weight as a result of my freshman year. I lived off campus for a little while. When I moved on campus, I gained some weight, and to kind of better myself and to get rid of that, I've decided I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to start exercising more. And unfortunately, being a music major, I'm extremely busy. And whenever I am not in class, I am either at my job or I am practicing, and it's absolutely mandatory that I have to do all of those things. So the only opportunity that I have to run is going to be early in the morning. Now, I have no problem getting up early, but it has come to my attention that my roommate, Jasmine, is not a fan of mornings. So I feel as though I have been pretty considerate in the past. I've tried to be quiet, in the mornings when I'm getting ready. I've tried to make sure that the door doesn't slam. And she's expressed that this is a problem for her. I feel like I've done all that I can do, and I feel like she is the one who's not being very considerate or understanding of her roommate's needs.
Jasmine, do you have your side of the story?
My side is simply that I understand that she wants to run in the morning. That I have no problem with that. That's fine. But I do not feel that she is doing her best to be considerate of me in the morning. I don't have to be up at 6 a.m. My first class doesn't start till noon, so I don't feel that she is being as quiet in the morning as she needs to be. I sleep on the bottom bunk. She sleeps on the top. I understand she's got to climb down, but I feel like she kind of rustles around and moves the whole bed and wakes me up. And then once she's off the bed and she's getting ready, I feel like she's knocking stuff over and she's being loud. Maybe she doesn't mean it. Maybe it's an accident. But it's every day and it's waking me up, and I feel like that is inconsiderate to me and to my needs. I'm trying to be considerate of her needs. She wants to run, that's fine, but I feel like she needs to be considerate of my needs as well.
All right, and I'd also like to add that this is a voluntary process. You don't have to sign this agreement unless you choose to do so. Additionally, if any time you believe this proves it no longer is helpful to either of you or to just you, you're free to proceed with another means of resolving your conflict. So do you guys want to continue on?
Sure.
Okay. And if you could just sign right here for me. Thank you. All right, so let's get down to what happened. So how did we come to get to this mediation? Yes.
Well, we had a class together last year, and we met in the class. We hit it off. We were friends. We hung out a couple times, and then we both needed a roommate this term. So we decided to room together. We didn't really know much about each other outside of class. We hung out a couple times, but we got along. So we ended up rooming together.
Okay. And how has that been going?
It was fine. I don't have a problem with her. It was fine. It's just this one issue is really, I'm myself. I'm a math major. I'm working very hard. Math is a very hard major, and I feel a lot of pressure from my parents. They're really pressuring me to do really well and get really good grades. And I'm busy, and I have a job, and I'm tired all the time. And so I don't want to wake up early in the morning if I don't have to, and that's really been our major problem.
And LaDasha, you said that there is absolutely no other time.
My schedule is completely packed. I'm, in addition to being in 4 classes, I'm also working 30 hours a week. And the time that I'm not spending at work, trying to pay for my school, I am sitting in a practice room because that is what, we have a certain amount of time that we have to spend as music majors outside, and we keep logs and everything like that. Our professors regularly give us, enough things to work on. It's no different than anybody else who is going into, mathematics. My homework's just a little bit different. It's a little more demanding. And that being said, I don't feel like if I was getting up and I was doing something that was like deliberately inconsiderate or something, I'm just trying to get up and go for a run. Like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm trying to do something that's proactive and healthy. Like, I don't feel like I am, waking up early to be noisy, to watch TV, or to invite friends over. Like, I am trying to get up to be just, a better person. And it's like, I got all these other stresses going on in my life as well. I need this. I need to be able to get up early and run.
Okay. So what I'm getting from is you want to run because you have a busy schedule. You need the release for it, and you are losing sleep due to stress and homework. How long do you study?
I study. I also work, and part of my job is I'm a tutor at the study tables at North Central, and when I don't have students, I'm studying. I also am taking 4 classes. Not all of them are math, but they are all math based, and I have very intensive homework from each class. And so if I don't have students to tutor myself, if I'm not doing other people's homework, I'm doing my own all the time.
Okay. So what would you like to see come out of this mediation?
I would really just like to. I don't mind her waking up, and I don't have a problem with that. But to make sure that the maybe if she got her stuff ready the night before, like her clothes, and got everything out and got ready the night before, so she can just grab it and go and be more quiet about it in the morning. Maybe that would be a solution that I could live with, just to be more quiet in the morning.
And LaDasha, what would you like to see?
Well, I would like to see maybe, I can try that, I guess. I've tried a couple times. It's like, usually when I get back, she's already in bed anyway, so it's like I run the risk of waking her up either way. I can give that a shot. Maybe if she invested in, I don't know if they have like the sleep earmuffs or something like that, if they had, I don't know, something that maybe might be able to help her, stay asleep or to not hear. Because, like I said, I don't know how else to be like quieter in the morning. We agreed to have bunk beds because that gave us more room in our room. So maybe we could try taking the bunk beds down. I know that's going to eliminate some of the space. That's going to get rid of, all of the other room that we have for like activities and stuff. But I really think that if we did that, then maybe I would be wrestling around directly above her.
Alright, so I think this would be a good time to stop and take caucus on LaDasha, if you would like to excuse yourself. And I'll have a chat with Jasmine, and then we'll switch. Great. Thank you. So Jasmine, during this caucus, I just want to let you know I will keep confidential anything you wish, but you will need to remind me of which information you want to keep confidential from LaDasha. It is important for me to find out different information, just to see if we can find a solution for the both of you that would be in both of your best interests. So you need to let me know what you want confidential and what would be fine to let LaDasha know.
Okay.
So, how did you both get here to this mediation?
Well, this has been going on for several weeks into this term, and it's really been causing a rift in our friendship, in the relationship we have as roommates. It's really been causing a lot of problems. We argue all the time. I'm really stressed out. I've got lots. My parents are on me. I had tests coming up. What really sent me over the edge is I had this big test coming up. I was studying all night, and I just wanted to sleep in the next morning. I studied all night, and I just wanted to sleep in. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. on the dot to her jumping out of bed and fumbling through the closet trying to find her running shoes. And I just blew up. I was just like, the RA got involved, and she's the one who made us come here to get this sorted out.
Okay. Now, this was before she went on her run, correct? Okay, just making sure. So, as LaDasha stated before in our opening statement, what about the bunk beds idea? Would you be open to maybe doing that sort of thing, taking the bunk beds down so she doesn't have to wake you up from that?
I really don't like that idea. I like that our beds are bunked because it gives us much more room in our tiny little dorm room. That's where I study, is in the dorm room. We have like a little couch and a little chair, and that's where I get my studying done. And I feel like if we took our bunk beds down, we'd have to give up probably the couch, and we would have much less room. And I just wouldn't. I'm more comfortable to study in my own room than I am, say, at the library. So I really don't feel like that is gonna work.
Okay. And what does your schedule look like? What's a weekly schedule for you, basically?
Well, I have my classes every day, but on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my classes end at 3.
Okay. And then how do you start studying right after class, or do you start studying like after like dinner and then you start studying? How late do you study?
I usually study as late as I feel is necessary. It
Okay.
could be 10 p.m. It could be 4 a.m. I'll usually come home from class. I'll probably grab something to eat, and then I'll study. If I have to work, I'll go to work. Maybe I'll study at work, but probably not because I'll be busy tutoring people. Then I'll come home from tutoring, and then I'll take a shower, and then I'll study, and I'll study all night.
What does your tutoring schedule entail?
It starts at 7:30 and it goes till 10:30.
And you can study there. There's a time
If
to
I
study?
don't have students to tutor, yes.
Okay.
Which I'm a math tutor. People need math help a lot, so it's very rare that I have time to do my own work because I'm helping people with their work.
Okay. And you said that you and LaDasha just met through a class. What kind of relationship do you guys have right now?
Right now, I mean, in the beginning it was good. We were buds. Everything was fine. We didn't argue. It's until she started doing this running and getting up so early that it's just like that's the main problem, and then it's just like little nitpicky problems. Like we'll argue about who didn't take out the little trash. We'll argue about just stupid little things that I don't even think that we really are mad about, but it's just this underlying issue that is so annoying, so aggravating to the both of us that everything else about the other person is also aggravating too.
Okay. And do you have, since you did say you were very stressed about the pressures of studying and school and so forth, work and being so busy, do you have any stress release type deals?
I just like to, because I'm a night owl, I would rather stay up all night and study than wake up early and study. So my classes don't start till noon. So my release is just to relax, just to lay down and just not think and sleep more likely and just to take it easy.
Okay. And when you study, do you study every night, or is it just like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, like you said?
No, every night. I study every night. There's a lot to study. with 4 classes.
Okay. How many hours would you say you study per class? Or does it matter? Are there harder classes that you study more for, or?
There is the one harder class. I'm in Calc 4, and that's a very difficult class for me. And I probably spend a good, probably the days I have class, I probably spend a good 3 to 4 hours studying or just doing homework. Just because the homework itself it's so detailed and so involved that it takes hours just to do the homework. And then after the homework, any quizzes that I'll have to study for the upcoming quizzes and stuff. Okay. So the homework, anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours, studying total 4 or 5. It depends on what I have coming up.
Okay. And what do you, you were talking about, like, both of you were talking about different solutions you could find. What would be the best solution in your eyes? Would it be different now that that LaDasha isn't here right now?
Honestly, I do like the idea where she just got her stuff ready the night before, so that she doesn't have to dig through the closet and mess around and knock stuff over in the morning. That would really, really work for me. Maybe instead of unbunking our beds, maybe we can just switch, and like I'll be on the top bunk, so that I don't feel it as much when she gets in and out of bed.
Has that come up before?
No, I just thought of it just now.
No, like you guys haven't talked about it at all. You don't.
No, we don't talk anymore. It's just we just argue. We just argue and glare at each other.
Okay, so other than that, stuff out the night before, switch beds. Is there anything else?
She could just stop waking up at 6 a.m. That would be grand, but not working miracles here.
Okay. All right, so I think this would be a good time. I think these are good ideas. Maybe, would you like me to keep any of that confidential by any chance?
Maybe the part where I said we were nitpicking at each other, just because I feel like that was a personal thing that she doesn't need to. That's not important.
Okay, so I think after I do have the caucus with LaDasha, I think maybe bringing up, maybe switching beds, maybe that would be an idea. I mean, you did already have the stuff out the night before. I think she would have reacted well to that kind of solution. So maybe the switching beds and having her stuff out, that would just be like, just keeping everything, safe, so you're not, she's not waking you up.
Maybe I hope that works.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so let's get LaDasha in here, and we can sit outside for a little bit, and then we'll come together and find an agreement. Alright. So, LaDasha, I just want to let you know that during this caucus, I'll keep confidential anything you wish, but you'll need to remind me of what information you want to keep confidential. If you don't tell me anything that you want to keep confidential, everything could be open to Jasmine. So, just letting you know ahead of time. Alright, so how did you two come about to this mediation?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I felt like there was some sort of tension between us. It was like this unspoken sort of, we maybe would let each other know once in a while if we were getting tics, but I feel like we were suppressing a little bit more than that, and neither one of us really wanted to be like that roommate or that person that was like, hey, let's duke this out real quick. So I don't know. I mean, aside from the stuff that we did talk about, just everything that was built up, it just one day we just let it out, like all of our frustrations and everything. Instead of maybe addressing it beforehand, we kind of let it build up, let everything, stress us out until we just kind of exploded at each other. And that's when we thought, okay, it's time to get somebody else involved and get us another opinion on the situation.
Okay. So there was a little tension before, you said. Mm-hmm. Your main stress reliever is running, correct? And it's just running?
It pretty much. I mean, just the endorphins, I think, get released whenever I'm exercising or whenever I'm running. it's such a relief to me. I mean, in the past, it's always been music has been my a stress relief for me. You know, a lot of people like to go back to their rooms and listen to music and unwind, and that's great and all for a lot of people, and it worked for me. Since it has been my life choice, my major, it has driven when something that was your stress and is now causing you that stress. It's like I needed an outlet somewhere else. I needed something else to pull away from that even. And so I think that kind of that definitely didn't help things when I decided that's something that I wanted to pursue. But at the same time, it's something that I love. It's something that I want to continue doing. So if there is going to be the sour with the sweet, then I need to find some other sort of outlet in addition to that. So.
Okay. How often would you say you run a week?
I
And for
run-
how long, I should ask too.
For how long?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I run probably 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
If it's really stressful, I might go more than that. Sometimes, if I'm too busy, then I don't do as much. I'd say on average probably 3 to 4 times. And I typically am gone for maybe an hour or so.
And do you know if of any stress relievers that Jasmine has done? Because she says that she was very stressed, so she doesn't do you know of any stress relievers that she's gone through, or other than going away from studying, I guess?
If she does, if she does do stress relievers, I'm not too keen on what they are. We haven't really talked about that. Every time I see her, I feel like she's studying. She's always studying. And that's great and all. She's got a lot of really good things going for her. I'm glad she takes her school so serious, but that could be part of our problem, is that she is just constantly got her face in a book or helping out a math student. So.
Okay. Does she, are you very social? Do you do social things outside of school?
I like to. It does make it a little difficult for me being as busy as I am and everything. But I'm not, I every once in a while I do. I'm not I wouldn't say super social. Not as social as I used to be. Back when we first started hanging out, we were friends off the bat. We went out a lot more. We hung out with more people. And I think that since we've gotten busier, that has driven a wedge in our social life as well. So for me at least, I like to, but yeah, time management is kind of gotten in the way of that.
Okay. And does Jasmine usually go out with you socially? Does she have her own separate group of friends? How does that work?
Like I said, we used to go out a little bit more together. Since living together and being on such conflicting schedules, she has, I think, developed. I've seen a couple more friends that she's talked to in between classes and stuff like that. But like I said, she studies a lot. So I haven't really after school, after I get back from work and everything, I don't really see anybody hanging out back at our place or anything. So.
Okay. And how would you describe your relationship with Jasmine before the altercation and now after it?
You mean since we argued?
Yeah, since you came to the mediation here.
I feel relieved that we're getting help. I feel relieved that we're deciding to discuss it like adults and handle it maturely, because the way that we acted, I don't think either one of us really felt the way that we had reacted and exploded at each other was beneficial to either one of us. And I think we both kind of felt ridiculous that it happened the way that we should have. Honestly, I feel like we should have gotten somebody involved sooner, because I feel relieved.
Okay. So for you, what would be the best solution for you for this mediation?
I would love for her to, for me personally, I feel like I would love it if she were a little more understanding. I run early in the morning and I get up and I do try to maybe be considerate. I try to be considerate too, because I know she's studying. I know she goes to bed later than I do, and so I get that. I wish that she understood that my reasons for it are not, I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm not trying to foil her plans to sleep in or to keep her being miserable, because we both got a lot going on. Just for her to know that I am making an effort, and I haven't turned into this evil, malicious person who hates sleeping in. And I would love for us to get back to, how we were before. the friendship that we'd had. So.
Okay. Jasmine says she studies a lot. What does your studying or like weekly schedule look like, basically?
I mean, like I said, I typically work 30 hours a week, so I am at my job 4 days, roughly, from like immediately from after school. And then I practice 3 days out of the week. I'm like in a practice room from like, I'd say like 3 to 8. And with like a little dinner break in between, maybe. So yeah, I would say I'm spending at least that much time in practice rooms or at my job. And then, throughout from like, I usually have class right around like, 8, 8 a.m. classes all the way till like, I'd say there's 4 classes. I get 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. I'm usually done by like 3 or 4. And then I go immediately to work or to a practice room.
Okay. In terms before this, did you and Jasmine have any problems, like schedule-wise or like you running?
Not really. I'd say last year before we were living together, we had a better relationship. Both of our schedules were not as conflicting. I think that now that college is getting a little bit more serious and we need to start, looking at career options and internships and all of these things that we have to kind of take into account, it's escalated significantly. Like I said, I don't want to be. The last thing I want right now is to be fighting and stressed out with my roommate, of all things. Like that's one of the last things that I absolutely need. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of ironic. I think that I'm doing one thing to kind of relieve my stress, and it's now causing me something else. This is causing me stress. So.
Okay. So when I had caucus with Jasmine, she said that maybe switching beds would be a good idea. Would you maybe agree to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea. Initially, I will admit that I initially did I wanted the top bunk, so that I take credit for because, I'd never had a bunk bed before growing up. I always thought they were the coolest thing, so I was like, yeah, I want the top bunk. In retrospect, I mean, I'm not too crazy about the top bunk, and honestly, I wish I would have said something to her sooner because it is kind of a pain to like get up and down and back and forth, and since she does tend to sleep a little bit later, yeah, that I would be okay with. I always just thought I never mentioned anything, but I always thought she preferred the bottom bunk. Now, like I picked the top bunk, I'm stuck with it, so I figured she was be happier that way.
And another thing that she brought up was the putting out of clothes the night before. Would you be open to that possibly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can give that a shot. I mean, I've tried to organize some stuff in the past. Like I said, I'll get home and I'm just like dead tired from everything. So, ideally, if I could even work out at night, I would love to be able to do that. It's like I'm so tired. So for me to lay some stuff, like I'll try to have at least enough energy to do that much. Like that's one more thing I guess I could do to make it a little bit easier on her.
Okay. And for the bunk beds, you said possibly putting them on the floor next to each other. How for that, or how much would you rather have that than bunk beds?
I like having bunk beds for the space. I like having the opportunity to for us to move around. It doesn't feel so cluttered. I feel like the fact that we're both so busy to have the room feeling more cluttered would be maybe not such a good idea. We need it to be nice and open and inviting and like relaxing. So I would much rather, and I like being able to do all the activities. So I would really think that I should rather just keep it with the bunk beds, and maybe we could try switching it. So I'm not against that idea.
Okay, so these have been some really good ideas. I think it'd be a good time to bring Jasmine back in and possibly find a solution for the both of you guys because you both have brought up really good ideas.
Okay.
So we'll bring her back in and we'll see what we can bring up. Cool. Jasmine, welcome back. So after the caucus with Ladasha here, we have found a certain ground between the both of you. Now, I just want to take a moment to reiterate what had happened between the both of you. Maybe after your caucus, you have a different story to tell, both of you. Do you want to go first, Jasmine?
I just don't understand why it's such a problem to be quiet in the morning. That's my one thing. If she would just listen to what I have to say, we wouldn't have a problem.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you're the only one that has something to say. Clearly, I'm trying to make it work and make something happen. It seems to me like instead of providing, I don't know what you guys talked about, but it seems to me instead of providing solutions, you're just upset because of a certain situation. Like I'm trying different things, and you're just sitting there, saying, "Well, I'm upset. I'm upset."
I just feel like the solution, I did provide solutions, and the solutions that I provided, I feel like are the best ones and are the ones that should be implemented. Putting your stuff out the night before and the bunk beds, maybe the switching. I just think those are the best solutions for.
Okay, I feel like those are possible solutions that we should consider, but I think that we're still going to have problems if you're still equally stressed out, if you're still, all you're doing is studying, like if you're not doing anything to we need to, the reason why we're having such issues with being friends is we're not hanging out, we're not doing things like we used to do, we're just the other person is there filling space, and I feel like that's how I get treated sometimes. I feel like there's more issues, I think, besides just the whole running situation. And yeah, I mean, those things will solve our problems now, but it's not going to be long term. I think that we need to maybe think about other things that we should do, as far as, for our friendship's sake, for our roommate being able to live together for the rest of the year. So,
do you think it would be best for the both of you, if LaDasha only ran a certain number of days? Would you be okay with her waking up at 6 a.m.?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a good place to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be the best days? Would you be okay with only running a certain amount of days?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to keep it. I don't run every day as it is right now. I guess maybe if I had a set schedule, that's a possibility for me.
Okay. What days would be best for you to wake up at 6 a.m. to run?
I'd say, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays I start a little bit later, so those might be decent days where I can maybe start a little later.
Okay. And
those days.
do you study during late during a certain time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or Monday and Wednesdays nights?
I mean, I do usually study late on those days, but I get out of class at 3. So,
Okay.
I could maybe try to start studying earlier. So that I wouldn't study so late.
Alright, so let's say, what would be a good time to stop studying? What time would you usually wake up? If she does wake you up at 6 in the morning, what would be a good time to start, at least getting ready to go to sleep?
Maybe 10:30.
Okay. Alright, and would that be fine with you then? What time do you usually go to sleep anyways?
I usually try to be in bed between 9:30 and 10, which I know in college is kind of maybe a little bit early, but because I'm getting up so early, I need a reasonable amount of sleep. So.
Okay. So for the running, as a running issue, let's just say, so on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, if you happen to want to run on a Saturday, but you should let her know just in case, because it is a weekend day. For at least Mondays and Wednesdays, though, you can start studying at, what time does your class end again? 3. So you can start studying at 3 until 10, so you have the hours between 3 and 10 to study. Is that all right with you?
That works for me.
Okay. That way you'd be able to get a good night's sleep, and then she'd be able to wake up early in the morning. Okay. Would it be difficult to set up your clothes beforehand? The night before?
Not really. I was telling her earlier, I just said that basically it's I am so tired from the day because I'm going to school all day. I barely have time to eat like I'm supposed to. When I get home, I'm just so drained. And so yes, I will put some effort forth. The reason that I haven't been doing that before is like, I'm so tired, I just want to relax. I don't have to think or plan or do anything like that, but and just take care of it in the morning. So that's just kind of like has always been my morning routine. Like I get up, figure out what I'm doing, but like she said, if it is going to be easier on you, and if it is going to be somewhat quieter, then I will have everything set up, ready to go as best as I can on those mornings.
Okay. And now we'll look over the bunk bed situation. Jasmine here was talking about switching, perhaps. During our caucus, you said something. Would you like to share it with Jasmine?
I was thinking, okay, so back when we decided we wanted bunk beds, part of the reason was because we wanted that open space, and I feel like if we go back to having bunk beds or back to having normal beds, it's not going to do either one of us any favors, because then we have less space, we're going to feel more cluttered, we're going to be more stressed out by it. I like having the openness. So if you're okay, I was never sure if you were okay with it. I probably should have spoken out. If you're okay with it, then maybe we could possibly just switch. Maybe you'll be on top, that way
That would work for
it's
me.
not like all going on above you. I can easily get up, do my thing, and you can stay sleeping.
That would work better for me, because I didn't want to unbunk our beds either for the same reasons. That's where I study. As you know, I study in the room all the time. I don't like to go to the library or anything. I feel more comfortable in my own room.
Mm-hmm.
So that would work.
Okay. So we'll be switching beds. Is there a specific time that you guys would be available to switch beds, so that we're not just saying, oh, you guys will switch beds, but then never have a set date?
I mean, I have a little bit of free time tomorrow. I could.
All right. That won't take very long.
Yeah, it was really just switching the sheets.
Mhm.
Really, it won't take long.
Yeah. We might be able to ask some of our neighbors to, if we need to help out. But.
Okay. And now, Videsha was also saying that your relaxing time. Would you like to reiterate on how you?
Well,
your stress
I mean,
releasing?
everyone has their different ways, but you run. That's your stress reliever. My stress reliever.
It's like
okay. My stress reliever is I just want to just lay down. I just want to lay down. I don't want to think. I just want to take a nap. I want to sleep, and that's usually, since I stay up so late and study and I stress out all night, I sleep in the morning, and that's my time. That's where I can just let the world go away. And I mean, you get up and that's fine. That's what you do. But I don't do that. That's my time. Is I want to sleep in.
Well, I feel like, okay, so you have this as your stress reliever. I'm wondering if how effective is it then? Because you're still seem a little stressful, even when you do get the opportunities to sleep in. I think that, maybe you should try, we talked about maybe you should try working out with me. Or try doing something that we get involved in this thing. I know I've got some free time coming up next term. So.
All right. And do you guys know of any activities that maybe the school gives out for free or hosts for free that you guys could possibly do?
Don't they do like a yoga thing for free? I think the school offers that. Like in the gym.
I'd be cool with yoga. I mean, that seems to me like it might be a cross between what it is. It's like it's still fitness and working out, but it's relaxing. So, which is what you like to do.
Yeah.
So,
because it's still like low key, and I can still just chill. So yeah, I could do that.
Okay. So, do we have any other issues that we need to discuss? We have Jasmine's going to study from 3 to 10 Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, so she can get sleep. And then Ladasha is going to try to put her clothes out at night. And do you think you'll be running during the weekends by any chance? At 6 a.m., if anything?
I mean, I would still like to have that option if I want to. I feel like maybe not every single weekend. I can probably be reasonable, and like if there's certain weekends where we know there's stuff going on, or if we both know that she needs to sleep in, then I don't mind taking like weekends off here and there. But I mean, I still it's something that I still enjoy doing, and I feel less pressure, I think, to whenever I get up and I run on the weekends because I don't have a full day ahead of me. So I'd still like to be able to do that.
Okay, and would that be all right with you?
Could we maybe not every day of the weekend? If
Like
you do
either a Saturday or Sunday.
could we do that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like at least if it's in the morning that you
Mhm.
choose to do that. If in the afternoon, whatever, it's fine. But like,
Would you want to be notified ahead of time?
I would like that just so I can plan my
How
day
far ahead of
accordingly.
time would you?
Like the day before is fine. The night before is fine. Hey, I'm gonna probably wake up tomorrow morning. Okay, like that's fine.
Okay, so Jasmine will be studying from 3 to 10 Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then going to bed at 10 so she can get sleep. Ladasha is going to try and put her clothes out at night. You can also work out during the weekend, but just make sure Jasmine knows the day or night before. Also, you guys are going to be switching beds by tomorrow. So that way you don't get bothered at 6 a.m. You have an easier access to everything without waking her up. And then yoga at school. Do you guys know what time or what days those are at? Or on, I should say.
Aren't they Tuesdays and Thursdays? I think. Yeah, like in the afternoon, I believe.
Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're both going to yoga. Okay, and does this both work for the both of you?
I don't have any more issues or concerns. As long as I'm still able to do my thing and she's not being bothered or affected by as much, at least, we're making compromises to where we're not driving each other crazy anymore. I can work with that.
And I can too. I can sacrifice, I'm being a night owl to make it. I understand that my hours of operation are not actually the normal, and I can make a couple adjustments to suit somebody else.
Okay. So as long as this agreement is good between the both of you, I'm going to have both of you sign it. First, it's Jasmine. Alright. I'm very glad we could get to a agreement here. Alright.
Me too.
Alright. Well, I hope you ladies have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for doing this.
Mhm.
I feel better. I feel relieved. I feel like we can move forward and not fight. I look forward to not fighting with you.
I don't want to fight with you. It's not fun. It's not fun. You used to be my friend, and I like to go to you when I have these problems. I should not be feeling like
Right, and I agree.
I'm fighting with you. So,
Okay.
thank you for all of your help, Miss Gauchus. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
And you're like really professional.